Well, welcome to the Gerry Anderson Podcast, Naomi Opalinska.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me.
No, it's lovely to have you with us. What's so interesting about you is that you've worked with Gerry through a fairly sort of undocumented period of his career, I suppose it's fair to say.
Yeah.
We know of Thunderbirds, we know of Stingray and Captain Scarlet and so on, but you worked with him throughout a very specific part of his career. How long was that? How long were you working with him?
I actually worked with him in his company for about 3 years, but I did a commercial with an advertising agency where I was a TV producer on the advertising side.
Right.
And we worked together on a very sort of low-budget Festival Gardens in Liverpool, I think.
Oh, yes.
We did.
Nice.
And then he asked me, well, he was working with Christopher Burr at the time.
Yeah, right.
And they asked me if I would come and produce for him.
I see.
So Gerry on the production company side.
And when was that then? Is this...
So it was probably, I actually went to work for him about 86.
Okay.
And then I left in 89 when I had my first child.
I see. And based at Bray, would that be?
We were based at Bray, yes.
So this is post-Terrorhawks, I think, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And when you first met him then, or were first introduced to him, was it a name that meant anything to you at all?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Yeah?
As a child, I grew up on his programmes.
Right.
Which probably does age me.
Well, no, there were lots of repeats. So,
well, there were, yeah. I wasn't around when he literally first started doing his productions, but a little while afterwards.
Yeah.
And then he became really famous in the advertising world, actually.
Right.
For the commercial that he did for Royal Bank of Scotland.
I see.
And they were the Giacometti figures that walked around, and one of the statues had this idea for a pair of shoes because they literally had just stick legs.
Ah, yes.
And he asked the Royal Bank of Scotland if they could borrow the money. And anyway, it won awards. And they did too. There was another one that had the idea for a hat. So the whole of the advertising world was really excited because these were kind of really a new thing.
Yes.
And it was stop frame animation.
Yes.
And
as you were part of that advertising world, obviously you saw his name.
Yes.
And recognised it at once, I would think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and everyone did. I mean, I think everyone was a Gerry Anderson production fan. You know, they all grew up on those programmes.
Yeah.
So we got the show reel in, and I would show it to the creative teams, and everyone was really excited. And when we got these scripts in, which were honestly really, really low budget, but Gerry very kindly said he would do them, and they worked really well, but probably not something that we would have put on the show reel, for example, because they were really low budget. But we worked really well together. And then, I was really surprised when they called me and said, would you like to come and work with us on the production company side?
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned the RBS commercial there.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look and see what sparked the Anderson Renaissance in commercials.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Yes.
If you've got a new business idea, why not talk it over with the Royal Bank of Scotland? You never know. They may be able to help you turn it into a reality instead of just a pipe dream. Royal Bank of Scotland.
Nice. The advert that made waves for Gerry. Yeah, it's very nice.
He won a silver arrow at the British Television Advertising Awards.
Right. And of course, many people watching that at home wouldn't know necessarily or at all that it was a Gerry Anderson production, would they?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, how does it work then? Not just for that commercial, but in commercials generally. Let's take that as an example, though. Who would have come up with that concept? Would the concept have been brought to Gerry and his team?
Yes.
You? Or would you have to come up with that idea of the figures or whatever it might be?
Oh, okay. So what happens is the advertising agency would be briefed by the marketing department of the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Yeah.
And, they want a commercial for businesses, say, in this particular case. And then the agency would be briefed on what they wanted to achieve from the commercial. And then it would go to the creative team.
Right.
Where there is usually a copywriter and an art director.
Yeah.
And they would come up with a script, and then they would, when that was approved by the client, they would then look for a director.
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, they wanted Gerry to do it.
I see. So they would make the approach to Gerry in that instance.
Yes.
I see.
And then they would be who we would call the production company in advertising. And then the production company would be asked to do a quote and come up with a storyboard and their ideas, because then the director, in this case would be Gerry, would come up with his different bits of input and how he thought it could really work well. So I see. And of course, Gerry was famous really for surrounding himself with familiar faces, the likes of Christine Glanville, who stayed for him for many years. And so did you meet many of those people who have been with him for decades? Yes, I did, at different times. I met Christine when we did a commercial for Hobnobs. It was actually a Hobnob bar.
Right.
So it's so it's like Hobnob biscuits, where it's got a white cream in the middle and then it's covered in chocolate.
Oh, don't.
I know. And we did that with Jan Ravens, who was a kind of very old school sort of Blue Peter presenter.
Yeah.
And there were two puppet characters, which Christine did the puppeteering for.
Right.
One called Hob and one called Nob.
Of course, makes sense.
And they just sort of had complete chaos in making these Hobnob bars in the Hobnob factory.
Great.
So it was quite funny, really, because there were, we had the live action, and then we had, with Jan.
Yes.
And then we had the puppeteering.
Yes.
But they had to sort of cut them from the two together.
Yeah.
And Hob and Nob were chucking cream and chocolate around, and there was this big tub of cream in the back of the studio, which we sort of was very sort of fresh at the beginning of the week.
Yes.
But, it didn't really smell so fresh at the end of the shoot.
No, right.
And we had to flick chocolate at Jan's face. So, as you can imagine, she's sort of immaculately made up with her lipstick and looking very sort of 60s or 50s. Well, and we had really one take to get these blodges of chocolate to kind of go in the right place. So I can remember that one being a difficult one. But we did it, and it worked really well, and it really was funny.
Well, we'll be the judge of that, Naomi, because we can have a look now. So let's have a look at this Hobnob commercial.
Hello, everybody. Hob and Nob are trying to make a Hobnob bar. Do you think they'll manage it?
I see.
Oaty, crumbly, crunchy Hobnob biscuit with cream filling and covered in chocolate. Hello, who's this? Oh, it's their friend Yob come to help. What a nice, helpful chap.
New Hobnob bars, wonderful, and your Hobnob.
Wow, amazing. So I'm guessing that a lot of that was filmed separately, so Jan Ravens in that instance was probably only needed for that one day or whatever.
Yes.
But you mentioned it might have taken a week or so to do all the other...
I think that one was probably... Because it was actually all live action, because we had the puppets.
Yes.
It wasn't really stop framing that one.
See.
So that probably would... From memory, because we're going back quite a long time.
I know.
A couple of days, I would have thought.
Right.
But if you think, in advertising, they spend, days and days and days creating 30, 40-second commercials.
Yeah,
so.
it's crazy, isn't it? That's right. So what would can you sum up a typical day working with Gerry, what that might have been like? You get in the office at 9 a.m, and what would your day entail?
Well, it varied, really, because some of my time would be going around and seeing creative teams that I knew and had contacts with, showing the show reel to try and get scripts to come to the production company.
Yeah.
And then...
And would you kind of be responsible for putting the feelers out then for any work that might be going
Yes.
that you could almost pitch for? Is that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Okay.
I used my contact. I was in advertising for about 13 years altogether. So I suppose, I had about 8 years in agencies before
Right.
I went to work for Gerry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else did your work entail? Once you had got hold of a script that you thought might be appropriate, what then?
Oh, well, then we just kind of waited for scripts to come in,
Yes.
which, Gerry was always just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
It's like, got anything in today then?
Right.
No, not yet. But
Yeah, okay.
hoping.
Yeah.
And then when we did get a script in, we all got really excited, and particularly Gerry did as well, because he just loved to get involved in his work.
Yeah.
He just really lived for his work.
Yeah.
And we would discuss it. He would always bring his whole team in to talk about it. It was a real family kind of atmosphere down at Bray Studios,
Yeah.
which was lovely.
Yeah. Any names that we recognise then that you could remember?
Mark Willard,
Yeah.
Steve Begg,
Okay, yeah.
Richard Gregory,
right.
and Mary
Yeah.
Anderson, of course.
Yeah.
We all worked together.
I see.
And so he would just bring everyone in. We got this script. What are your thoughts? It was real teamwork.
Great.
And then I would have to put a budget together,
Uh-huh.
see if we came out with the right price to get the job.
Okay.
And
That's a tricky thing, though, isn't it? So it's a bit of a tightrope because
It is.
you want enough money to, not only make the thing, but also to pay everyone's wages, I guess.
Well, that's right.
And yet you can't pitch too high because I guess that would put you out of the running. Is that
Yeah,
the
because
case?
usually agencies would ask two or three production
Yeah,
companies to
right.
quote.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a financial thing, but people did want to know what the creative input was, what ideas Gerry had.
Yeah.
So that's why we'd always have these, Gerry would just call everyone into his office.
Yeah.
He'd had a great big desk. And
Yeah.
Parker was in the corner
course he was.
his glass cabinet, which was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd just sit there and everyone would come up with ideas of how we could make the script work, or if they had any ideas of, what we could do to make it better.
Yeah.
Or and then I would work with Gerry to, we had long discussions about how many days we needed, who
Yeah.
he wanted to work with him on that film, and then we would submit the quote.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed,
Yes. You'd get the gig.
Yeah.
Was there a sense that having Gerry there, was that a kind of a bargaining chip? Was that an extra value added, as it were?
Well, I think it was, because I think most people at that time, really, did.
Had grown up.
Grown up with
Yes.
Gerry and had warm feelings towards the programmes
Yeah.
and everything. So
Yeah.
to work with him, and particularly with the success he had with the Royal Bank of Scotland, I think
Yeah.
they really did want to work with him.
Yeah.
But it was always just a question of, would the budget allow? Did they, align with his ideas that he had?
Uh-huh.
And then you always get a bit of chemistry with people, don't you? Whether you feel you can work with them.
Yeah.
But it was. I think people did want to work with him.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
you can imagine.
Absolutely
really.
right. Yeah, yeah. But it brings a bit of kudos to the project, I
Yeah,
guess, to have a name like that
yeah.
attached. Now, I've asked you in our various email exchanges to supply us with your first Anderson memories and so on.
Oh, yes.
So let's take a look at when you first remember watching Gerry Anderson on TV. Let's have a look at this.
That's funny. We both run away, and we both met each other. We'll have to be friends and stay together all the time.
That's a good idea. I've been very lonely myself.
Child? What child?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's go to sleep now, and in the morning we can go looking for adventure.
A very quick clip, because that's all I can bear to watch. From Twizzle. Twizzle and Foot.
There's not many Twizzle clips around, I don't think.
I think there's only
are
one
there?
remaining episode that's
Yeah.
available to see. That's right. Your first Anderson memory.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's the beginning of the journey, really.
I know. I don't think I quite realised that until actually a few weeks ago
That's
when I was
right.
actually looking through it all chronologically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was one of four. I was the youngest of four children, but I was the youngest by quite a long way. So
Right.
my three brothers kind of flew the nest, and so television was really quite important to me as a child.
You're right.
And I remember, because I used to see that on Watch with Mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been a few years after it came out.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And, I really remember that you kind of had to learn to tell the time at a young age then, because if you didn't know what the time was, you sort of missed your television programme.
That's it. And it would never be seen again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I remember, Watch with Mother, which I think was on at about like 1 o'clock. It was a lunchtime thing for about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you had, Bill and Ben, which kind of reminded me with the Hobnob commercial.
Yeah,
So that
that's
was
right.
a nice thing to work on because of that. And Andy Pandy, Wooden Tops.
Yeah, God, yes, that's right.
And then I think Torchy, the battery boy,
That's it.
came along at that point.
That's right.
A bit after as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, what's so interesting about watching clips on those early shows is how far and how pretty quickly Gerry sort of progressed in terms of the craft.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that's a fairly naive sort of presentation of a puppet show, isn't it? The characters are fairly roughly sculpted, and there's a single shot on just the two of them, but then suddenly we get into the likes of Fireball XL5, Supercar, and then Thunderbirds and Stick. It's like they're mini movies, aren't they?
Well, that's right. I mean, Gerry used to talk to me about how he got into it, and he just saying like he would really just wanted to make programmes.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, somebody said, I can't remember who it was now, but you can make this twizzle.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of got typecast in the puppet.
Yes. Yes.
Era.
That's right.
But then obviously he did go on to do live action, which he enjoyed doing as well.
Yeah,
but,
Didn't enjoy working with actors very much, though, from what we hear.
Well,
I think he himself said he preferred the puppets because they don't answer back.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think Gerry had. I mean, I got on really well with Gerry, and I know a lot of people that did as well. But I kind of knew that, he could have his moments with people.
Yeah.
So, I think if you knew that and you were forewarned, and Gerry really was so loyal to the people that were loyal to him.
Yes.
And I
that's
think
right.
that's what made it such a nice, close family thing
exactly.
at Bray. And I know that there are a lot of people that worked with him for years and years.
Yeah.
And I remained very good friends with Gerry and Mary.
Yeah,
So,
lovely.
It was really nice.
Now, I'm going to ask you some questions from our wonderful viewers and listeners.
Okay.
So we have a Facebook group, and that's where I post our guests who are coming up and ask our podsterons, as we call them, our listeners and viewers, if they want to leave any questions. And we've got quite a few for you.
Okay.
So are you ready for these?
Yes.
So John Stock says, "Hi Naomi, nice to see you. Would you say that Gerry was as professional making adverts as he was in his TV series?"
Oh, well, hi, John. That's a good question. Well, I would like to think so. The thing is, I only ever worked with him on commercials. I didn't work on the programmes, but he was very professional. So I can imagine that he would be. He took it all very, very seriously.
And as much care would have been taken over, for example, the Hobnob commercial we've seen and the RBS commercial that we've seen. He would have taken as much care over that as he would over Thunderbirds or Terrorhawks or whatever he might have been working on, surely.
Yeah, he would have done. And the advertising agencies and the clients really pay attention to like every second.
Yeah.
So in a way, maybe you had to pay more attention to detail in commercials, I would say.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Juliet Legg says, "Hi Naomi, oh my gosh, you looked after my cats.
Yes, I
Buffy
did,
and
Juliet.
Panda.
Yes.
In your cattery many times. How did I not know you worked with Gerry Anderson?" By the way, she says that's not my question, but she does want to know which is harder, cat behaviour wrangling or trying to wrangle a commercial together.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Juliet. Lovely to hear
It's funny,
from
isn't it?
her. Yeah.
Small world.
That's a really good question, actually.
So how long have you been working with cats?
I have been working with cats since 2003.
Yeah? And what brought you into that world?
Well, we moved from West London to South Oxfordshire, very near to Gerry and Mary, so that's another connection that I have. So, in fact, they were the only people that we knew when we moved into the area, so they were very, very kind and welcoming, which was nice. But the house that we moved into had a derelict cattery.
Oh.
Yes, on the land. So we sort of had this idea of renovating it and doing it up. And I'd always really liked animals, loved animals from a small child. And my husband as well, we're kind of quite animal orientated. Yeah. And we just thought, well, why don't we give it a go? So we did a lot of research. Yeah. I just read up on everything. Yeah. At that time, I have got 5 children, and my youngest was 2. Yeah. So it was kind of a great business. I could look after my family. Yes. I was at home all the time. Yeah. So it fitted in really well with school holidays and that kind of thing. And just one thing led to another, and I got in touch with, I mean, if you're not in the cat world, you probably won't know, but iCat Care, which used to be Feline Advisory Bureau, and they really raised the standards of catteries all around the country. And so I decided if I was going to do it, it was going to be like one of the top catteries. Yeah. So I suppose the answer, going back to the actual question,
which is more difficult.
Yeah. In my head, they're both kind of productions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
They both need an incredible amount of organisational skills, which, as some people would say, kind of maybe I'm a bit over the top on.
Yeah, but you have to be to make it your profession, I guess.
Yeah. So, you know, that, I mean, when you're doing a commercial, you've got to make sure everybody's there at the right time. You know, you've booked the stage for the right time. Yeah. You've got all your models made on time. Your artists arrive on time. You've got the makeup art. You know, you've just got to make sure it all comes in on budget. Wow. So from that aspect, and then with the cattery, you know, you've got to make sure that you don't double book. You've got to make sure that you look after every cat's special need, the client's special needs, how they want you to look after their cats. So, and then you've got financial on both sides as well. So although very, very different, kind of a few similar skills needed,
that's
I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. No, I can see that, absolutely. Yeah. And you're bringing the same skills to both jobs in a way.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Emily Davis says, hi Naomi, what's your favourite pet in an Anderson production? Does that mean anything to you at all? There are various animals and creatures that appear throughout
No, there are,
Gerry's
and
series.
I always love them, except now I've gone completely blank and can't remember their names.
Well, there was, I think...
There's the cat in Twizzle.
Yes, that's right, Footso.
And
there was a strange creature called Zuni the Lazoon as well from Fireball XL5.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I know in Four Feather Falls there was a dog and a talking horse as well.
Yes, that's
wasn't
right,
there?
Exactly. Rocky and the dog Dusty.
Oh,
Rocky and Dusty.
It's
always helpful to have Chris Dale around.
Those ones. And there is something so lovable about talking animals.
Yes. Yes, it's a fantasy for children, isn't it?
It is.
Their pets can talk back.
And, you know, even now it's just like... Because we talk to our pets, don't we?
Yeah.
I know they, you know...
And in a way
they
they
might
do
work
talk back.
for meow,
That's right.
Or sometimes they just sort of look at you and think, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know? So.
Sweet. Finally for now, Steve Bushell says, hi Naomi, working with cats seems to be far removed from stop motion. Did you find the slow progress of stop motion frustrating? And how long would a 30-second commercial, for example, take from start to finish? So was it a frustrating process working in stop motion as opposed to puppetry?
Well, it is a bit like watching paint dry, I'm not going to lie. It can go on, you know, if you think you're just filming like maybe 30, 40 seconds, you know, you can take 8-10 days.
That can take 8 to 10 days.
Depending on the complexity.
Yeah.
Wow. And but I didn't have to be there watching every move in my particular role.
Yeah.
So the animators did that, the lighting cameramen were there, so the model makers. So I kind of think that probably affected them more because I was a bit more in and out, making sure it was all going all right and we were all going to time and
yes, exactly.
they were getting the shots in on time and stuff.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
We would know you in the Gerry Anderson world as a commercials producer, I guess. Was that your role, would you say?
Yeah, that was.
And how
yes.
would you explain briefly your role as a commercials producer? What does that entail generally?
Well, you can be a commercials producer on the advertising agency side or for the production company, which is what I did when I worked with Gerry.
I see.
So I would go out and try and sell his show reel, bring in work.
Yeah.
Then I would help Gerry with the quote. We would discuss the creative ideas that he might have and get in model makers, puppeteers or animators, depending on what the script was. Sometimes it was live action.
Right.
And then we would work right through to doing all the post-production, the editing, special effects if they were needed, and just putting the whole thing together.
And how long might that process take from beginning to end, let's say, for a particular campaign?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, you'd probably get the script in, which would obviously have been worked on for quite a while by the agency.
Yeah.
And it could be sometimes you could be asked to do something in a week, which would be quite extraordinary, but that would probably be live action.
And that's like a complete delivery in a week.
It's like the newspapers, I mean, back in the day when people read a newspaper, they used to do very, very quick turnarounds.
Right.
But then there were other things that could take maybe 4-6 months to do from beginning to end. It could just be like dragged out quite a lot.
Yes.
Lots of conversations about different aspects of the commercial, etc.
Was that sort of frustrating, or was that interesting to be part of that creative process over those many months?
Well, it was interesting because, ideas evolve. It just... The great thing about doing commercials is that they're all different.
Yeah.
So, I've never worked on Gerry's shows, but I can imagine, if you were doing sort of like 10 episodes of a show, you might be a bit bored or fed up at the end of it, or you might not. You might really enjoy it. But with a commercial, it's all short and it's different. Every script, it usually comes from a different advertising agency, maybe a different creative team.
Yeah.
And so that makes it nice because it could be, for example, with the Royal Bank of Scotland, that was stop frame animation. And we did, actually this is quite a funny story because we did a really beautiful animated commercial for Johnson & Johnson, which the same animator, Joan Ashworth, who did the Royal Bank of Scotland. So the script came in and I said to Gerry, we've got this script in from Saatchi's, so that was a really big agency, really big client.
Right.
And it's origami, stop motion birds. Really
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good budget.
Yeah.
So, we're cooking here. So it's like, so what's the product? So Gerry's kind of a little bit bashful and awkward, and it was in the days when sanitary towels weren't particularly that it was kind of a new thing.
Yes.
They just weren't
Certainly
advertised.
weren't talked about.
No, exactly.
Strange, isn't it?
So like this blush came over Gerry's face, but we soon got over that, and then we were just into what was going on. But
you soon got over that when you saw the checks coming in.
Yes,
I guess
exactly.
that helped, didn't it?
So, but that was quite funny to have to tell Gerry that was what we were going to do: flying sanitary towels made out of origami.
Brilliant. That was fantastic. And as a producer, does the buck stop with you, really, then? You say you're in charge of the budget and making sure people turn up at the right time. I mean, it sounds like you have a great deal of control over the process.
A lot of things do.
So when things go wrong, that's your problem?
You're very... Well, you are really, because you're the main contact between the advertising agency and the production company.
Yeah.
So you're the person that they will come to.
Yeah.
But you're reliant on a lot of people. You've got a big team working for you. So if you've got people that are really dedicated, reliable, really want to do well and are very professional, usually, as long as you've allowed enough time to do things, and you've got you've done your budget okay, so you're not too strapped for cash on it, it's usually okay. But it can be like that. I mean, I'll be like, come on, Gerry, got to wrap up now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's
we haven't
right.
we got to finish for the day.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
we can't go over. But
No.
Gerry was great because he was always in charge of his productions as well. You know, he was always very conscious of the money side of things too. So I did hear of people that work for directors who just got totally carried away with the creative side of everything.
You're right.
But Gerry was great on that front.
You mentioned, you know, that one of the joys of working in that area was that you're never quite sure what's going to come next. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, various products and various ways of producing those commercials. But the flip side of that is you never know when the next job is going to come, I guess.
Yeah, and there are times where you do sit around.
Yeah.
Fortunately, when we were at Bray, it was it's just such a beautiful location.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. I went from Paddington,
Yeah.
like near the station,
Uh-huh.
in my office there, to having a really nice big office,
Yeah.
which just overlooked the River Thames. And there was
Yes.
just grass in between me and the River
Cool.
Thames, so it was
Lovely.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah, not too shabby, I bet.
Yeah, but so we did. We did have a bit of hanging around time. I think that's pretty standard. But you try and fill your time. You know, you build up contacts with people in advertising. You know,
Yeah.
take them out for lunch, get them to meet Gerry,
Yeah.
get them to know each other, so that they, you know, feel they've got a connection and
Yeah.
think, oh yeah, you know, I could write them the next script that Gerry could direct.
And do you remember how Gerry was in terms of, you know, he'd obviously had these great successes in the 60s and 70s, made these huge TV series that, you know, spanned many months and sometimes years.
Yeah.
How was he now in this new format? Did he find that frustrating? Was he, I don't want to use the word bitter, that's too strong, but, you know, was he regretful that things had come to this pass, or was this just another way of making a living?
I think it was another way of making a living. And
Yeah.
Gerry was always so innovative and he was so interested in the latest technology.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think just as I was coming to the end of my time with him, you know, CGI was coming about and he
Yeah.
was absolutely,
Yeah.
you know, absorbed with that.
Yeah.
And so anything that came up, he would really just love all of that stuff. So
Was he particularly hands-on, you know, on the set with the as a director? I guess he was there.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Very hands-on. And because every shot was, you know, you'd have the creative team there, the people that had actually written the script and other people from the agency, the client probably be there. So you had to really make sure that you were doing what you said you were going to do.
Yes, that's right.
So there were no surprises.
Yeah.
But we were very lucky. We had great people to
Yeah.
work with, the model makers, and
Yeah.
you know,
Amazing.
and Gerry had his team, and
Yeah.
so it was a little cottage industry,
Yeah.
I think, at the time.
That's great.
So very nice.
We asked you last week for your first Anderson memory. We're going to take a look now at one of your favourite Anderson characters and
yeah.
moments. So let's have a look and see what you chose.
I hope it's pink.
This is Parker calling Feb 1.
A very human hand there, did you notice?
I loved that bit.
Yeah.
You hear me, beloved?
Parker from Fab 1, loud and clear.
I Mr. Grafton is called to see you, beloved.
Very good, Parker. I'm afraid I may be a little late.
Oh, no trouble, I hope, beloved.
Afraid so. I'm being tailed. It may take some time to lose them. Meanwhile, make my excuses to Mr. Graft.
Yes, beloved. And good luck.
The bad guys. Well, she wasn't wearing pink, unfortunately,
She
in that
wasn't,
scene.
but she was in a pink car.
She was. So what
Yeah.
was it about Lady Penelope and Parker and their relationship that you enjoyed so much?
Well, firstly, I was a real girly girl, so anything pink and, you know, ladylike and fashionable,
Yeah.
and, you know, she kind of just lived in a world that you would, you know, want to be in. She was going skiing and, you know, having dinner parties and that
Yes.
kind of, I'm sure as a child, just kind of
Yeah.
really appealed to me.
Yeah.
And I just find that relationship, because they're just so poles apart, Parker and Lady Penelope.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get anything more different.
That's right.
From different classes
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And they just kind of had that understanding of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, such durable characters. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone would remember those characters today. If you did the
Yeah.
impression, everyone, knows Parker and Penelope.
Yeah,
It's
so
incredible.
and I remember as a child just loving anything to do with Lady Penelope. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'm sure everyone must remember, or they think they're still going today, Fab Ice Lollies.
Yes.
And I can remember in the summer coming out of school and my mum taking me so I could go and choose my ice lolly. It was always a Fab.
Always a Fab.
F-A-B.
Yeah, the ice cream for girls.
Yes,
I think it was.
I think it was. Well, it definitely was in my case.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So there you were, many years later working for Gerry. Were you conscious of that long lineage behind him and how you had watched this stuff as a kid? Was it satisfying to be, working with him as a business partner and a friend?
Yeah, it was. But I think when you get working with somebody, that kind of goes a little bit.
Yeah.
Before you meet someone,
Yeah.
you have that kind of, you're very much in awe. And I've always been in awe because,
Yeah.
For what he's achieved and
Yeah.
everything is fantastic.
Yeah.
But, we were very much, I used to work with him every day, 5 days a week for 3 years. So
Oof.
you kind of, you kind of move on from that and just focus on what you're working on at the time, really.
That's right, yeah.
And I remember when I first started working with Gerry, I can't remember whether it was when I was at the agency and I came down to the studio, but Jamie was just 20 months,
Sweet.
little toddler.
Sweet little boy.
Yeah. So that takes you back to how long
Doesn't
ago
it?
it was.
Well, he was 40 last week. So.
Yes. and Gerry and Mary are just sort of such lovely people. And I kind of had we live near each other now.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved in the early 2000s to the South Oxfordshire area, they were literally the only people we knew. And they were just so kind and welcoming and helpful of, telling us all about the area and everything.
Yeah.
And Gerry was very kind. He used to get sent lots of stuff, say, from the BBC, like lots of DVDs of his shows and then a whole load of other stuff, like Planet Earth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he would bring them round to my kids and they would just, love
Great.
it,
Yeah, sweet.
They remember that really well.
Yeah.
So, it is... Yeah, you are in awe of him, I think, because... and he's was so quiet. He was...
Yeah.
I remember him being quite overwhelmed with, he had this kind of fan club and...
Yes. I think the prevailing sense is that he never really knew or understood what his work meant to so many people.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't really, I mean, I think he was really happy that people did love his work so much.
Yeah.
I know that meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know that because they've been writing in with questions about your time working with Gerry and beyond. So let's delve into the lunchbox and let's take out all these questions that we have left and see if we can rattle through these. So, Rich Goodborn says, which advert was the most fun to do with Gerry, if you have to pick one?
I think the Hobnobs was a really good fun one.
Yeah?
Because Jan Ravens was a really great actress.
Yes.
Well, she still is.
Yes.
And she was very professional.
Yeah.
And it just really worked.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny. I think actually the other ones were the Lieutenant for Tennant's Pilsner, which was based on Dick's Banner.
That's right, yes.
And that was a really fun time, actually.
Yeah.
I think we just pretty much laughed the whole time because the creative team that wrote the scripts for that, I worked with at the agency, and then I left to work with Gerry, and then they moved to another agency.
Yeah.
And then they wrote the scripts, and obviously that was particularly targeted for Gerry because of the Dick's Banner.
Absolutely.
Based on
Where
that.
else were they going to go? That's
Exactly.
right, yeah.
And it was just one place.
Yeah.
And that was really nice because they were really young guys, very funny. We used to always laugh a lot when we were in the agency.
Yeah.
And then they just laughed a lot with Gerry and Mary as well. It was just, I was talking with Mary about it, and we just, and Mark and Martin, who were the creative team on that quite recently.
Yeah.
And we just remember that being such a happy, fun time. And
Amazing.
Yeah,
Great.
so it was good fun.
Well, I think we can have a look at Lieutenant
Oh,
in
yes.
action. Let's have a look at this.
Lou. Lieutenant's the name. I was between cases, so I stopped off at the Sink Inn. The place was swimming over. Fingers and his knob were at their usual table, hatching something. I asked the barman for a tenant's pilsner. The cool taste was music inside me. So I asked for another, and introduced me to his sister, Candy Floss. Funny, I felt kinda hungry. She was suffering from arrested development. With her development, someone ought to be arrested. She told me she had a problem. I had a choice. My tenant's pilsner or Candy's case. It was close, but not that close. Tenant's pilsner. It's good, but not that good.
I can see why you laugh so much.
Yeah, we just had such fun with all those puns.
Now, I have a couple of questions about that. So, firstly, was Terry Adlam who...
Yes.
He was involved with that
on
commercial?
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
I thought I detected...
He was very heavily involved in that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And secondly, they're obviously after it then, the agency and the client are obviously trying to connect with a very particular audience there by using that character, who is essentially Dick Spanner.
Yeah.
So what were they trying to tap into there? Are you able to kind of sum that up?
Well, at the time, I don't know where we are with alcohol advertising at the moment,
Yeah.
but there were lots and lots of strict laws were coming in on how you could advertise alcohol.
Right.
So, I mean, going back a long time before that, you would have women in bikinis and very glamorized, or
Yeah.
you know, it's like with people smoking, you know, like
Yeah.
you just couldn't do that anymore. So the beer companies and the advertising agencies were always looking for ways that they could kind of brand their product, but without crossing those boundaries. You see, so
yes.
I think the Dick Spanner, obviously, which was lieutenant in this particular case, worked really well because it gave the brand an identity, so they knew it was like lieutenant, so the tenants is in the name, and so I think that's how it worked at the time.
And there's a kind of anarchic energy to it. It's a bit edgy and you know, fun, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was really fun.
Yeah, interesting. Simon Frisbee, hi Naomi, thanks for doing the podcast. How creative can you be when making a commercial? Do you have a free hand, or are you told what the finished product has to be and look like?
Okay, that's a very good question. So you get presented with a script, which you should stick to.
Yeah.
But the creative team from the agency will be looking for a lot of input from the director
Right.
and the production company to add in any ideas they've got.
Yeah.
You know, different ways that you could shoot the film. You know, whether it was like close up, or you know, I mean that's just an example.
Yeah.
But you know, or just like a different feel to it.
Yeah.
So the production company do have a lot of input, but it all does have to be approved by the agency and then the client. They don't have a complete free hand.
Yes, right.
So it's a bit of a joint effort, really.
Yeah. Do you sometimes find yourself going down a bit of a dead end, you know, pursuing one particular idea only for the agency or the client to say, no, that's not for us,
Oh, that
think of
can
something
happen.
else? Yeah, so it
yeah,
is a two-way
sure.
conversation all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yeah. But of course, it comes to someone like Gerry, you know roughly what they're going to be after.
Yeah.
You know?
And Gerry would do a storyboard, you know, and then the agency would come back and say, yeah, that's really great, we like it, or could we change that bit?
Yeah.
You know, that scene there a bit, or what do you think? And we just talk it through, really.
Yeah.
So a bit of a teamwork, I think.
Yeah, great. And finally, Jonathan Bell says, what's your favourite kind of cat?
Oh, what's my favourite kind of cat? I actually like just a domestic short-haired cat. You know, just a good old moggy that, you know, ginger tabbies are nice. We we've had a lovely tortoiseshell cat,
Right.
but they can be a little bit unpredictable.
Ah, okay.
Maybe like call them a naughty tortie. We had a lovely black cat too. Black cats are nice because they're quite overlooked.
Yeah,
You know, they're
I
not
agree.
as photogenic as the other
Oh,
ones.
they are beautiful.
Yeah, but they are beautiful. But
Yeah.
I don't really have any particular.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably the standard moggies are my faves.
Now, you say you worked with Gerry then for what was it, 3 years, I think you
Yeah.
said, and then started a family.
Yeah.
So was that really your exit from the business, as it were, or did you carry on to some degree?
Really. I did move to another production company for a very short time, but I had my first son while I was working with Gerry.
I see.
And
Was that an easy time to juggle with those?
Well, I suppose, I don't know, looking back on it, I thought I could kind of handle everything, but I could
Yeah.
probably realise that actually, you know, doing my job is full-time and
Yeah.
looking after a baby's full-time
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But I do remember we did a commercial for a French agency.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the script coming, it was for a furniture polish.
Mm-hmm.
And it featured a wooden horse, you know, the kind that an artist would use to draw with
Yes, the joints.
the
and so on.
joints and all that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And it was polishing one of those. And so we had to go over to Paris, Gerry and I, for to meet the agency to discuss. And I can remember I was probably about 4 weeks off having the baby, and I had to have a special letter from the doctor to say I could fly. And I just wore this massive coat that kind of covered me up and disguised me so that people couldn't see
Great.
that I was having
Wow.
a baby. But I did work up literally right to the day
really.
that I had him.
Yeah, gosh. And then following that, you say you kept in touch with Gerry and Mary
Yes.
throughout
Yeah.
the following years. Were you ever tempted to kind of step back into the industry at all, or once you'd found your sort of the cattery and so on, did you put it all behind you?
Well, I think it just kind of didn't really come up. It wasn't that I thought about. I just knew that I couldn't do the long days that
Yeah.
job needed. You know, sometimes with filming, you would start at, you know, you'd leave home at 6:30 in the morning, and my son would be asleep, and then when I got home at 8:30 at night, he'd be asleep as well.
Yeah.
So it just kind of didn't work. But I did live through all the programmes with my kids, which was also
of course.
a lovely,
right.
You know,
Isn't that
second
amazing?
episode going on there.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So that was really nice because I think it was 92 that they released Thunderbirds
Right.
again.
Okay.
So my eldest son was very interested in
Yeah.
that. And then, of course, that Christmas, you could not get Tracy Island for Love Nor Money. It sold out in like October or something.
Yeah.
And then Anthea Turner did the Blue Peter.
That's it.
How to
The
make your own Tracy Island,
Yeah.
which I did.
Oh, well done.
And I, you know,
Great.
was kind of had to really, didn't you?
Yes.
And and I just loved it. You know, we were collecting all because then I think I actually found the instructions online last
right.
week. They're still
Oh,
there in
really?
the BBC archives.
Brilliant.
So
Wow.
yeah, if anyone's out there, you can still make
Still make
Tracy
it.
Island. It's just instead of we use toilet rolls, but of course you're not allowed to use those now. So I think it was a Pringles packet.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Great.
tube that you had to use.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we had to collect all that stuff. Dairy tops for the swimming pool was great. I loved making that. You know, because I loved that on the titles.
Yes.
Of, you know, how the
That's it.
Thunderbird it opens up.
Yeah.
You know, that I loved.
Yeah, that's right.
Because somehow, even though it was all puppets and it was models, it kind of seemed real as a child.
That's what we hear all the time from our
Yeah.
guests. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like, oh my God, how
Yeah.
do they do that?
That's
you know?
right. Yeah, it's extraordinary.
So when I created my own little,
Yeah.
you know, Dairyly
Yeah.
lid and had to paint it blue, and then you had, I think they call it a paper fastener. It was like a little brass thing that came apart at the bottom.
Oh, yes,
and then
I
you
know
put
what
that
you
in, and then you swiveled it round, and then
Nice.
your Thunderbird one came out the
Yes.
toilet roll, you see.
Very good.
There you go.
Very inventive.
Yeah.
Naomi, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real insight, shining a light on a part of Gerry's career that is not brushed over by any means, but you know, isn't as well looked at as the high-profile series.
Yeah.
So you've really opened the door a little bit to shine a light on it,
No,
for
it's
which we
been-
thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been lovely to have the chance to chat about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.